Waiver gems and trade block plays. Win today and plan for days. Waiver gems and trade block plays. Win today and plan for days. Waiver gems and trade block plays. Win today and plan for days.
Win your league, stack that bread, or start a boom and lose instead. Sunday Surefire, let's go.
Sunday Surefire. It's your host this week, Aaron Downtown Brown. I got the co-host, Ethan Weaver.
Aaron, how you doing?
We are doing, my friend, doing. We just went off a hot episode of DFS plays. I'm back in the saddle again, ready to keep talking more fantasy football. I'm living the life, man. How about you?
Yeah, always excited to sit down and talk fantasy. As we alluded to in our last episode, it's crazy that we're already on week 4 and things are happening that we didn't expect. I mean, who would have thought Quentin Johnston was going to be a wide receiver 1 through the first 3 weeks? I mean, obviously,
yeah, hello, Ethan Weaver, of course.
Hey, that 3-year breakout. I mean, the biggest thing in fantasy that people have no patience, right? Even NFL teams don't have any patience. So players like QJ who take 2 years to develop, and then finally we're seeing the benefit from him obviously getting better and growing at the position. And now finally we're reaping the rewards in our fantasy lineups. But I mean, obviously none of us put him in our lineups in week 1. And I think we need to exhibit patience too with the rookie class. I know a lot of people are coming down in the rookie class this year, especially those running backs. So I think patience is the key word so far through the first 3 weeks of the NFL season.
I agree, man. I if I'm not mistaken, I think you're starting him against me in one of our leagues.
100%.
We're lined up against each other.
I'm starting a QJ in 3 leagues. Let's go.
Biggest QJ fan right here, day one. But the funny thing is, the alternative to that is, I mean, are you scared about Ladd McConkey's talk, right? I mean, I think last year Ladd was the only one who could catch a pass for the Chargers, right? And now we're kind of seeing Herbert kind of spreading the ball a little bit more. You got Keenan Allen as a top 10 wide receiver again. So, I mean, it's like, yeah, we're patient with QJ, but are we panicking with McConkey? I know this is not a patience or panic episode, but
bonus content here.
Yeah, bonus content right now.
So, I mean, I thought Keenan Allen was going to be a thorn in McConkey's side, but not to this degree. And I don't think anybody predicted the 30-year breakout that QJ is having. QJ is playing over 80% of the snaps. He's on the field in 2 wide receiver sets. He's been a favorite target of Justin Herbert. And I mean, QJ is getting open. He still can't really catch the ball when it's in contested situations, but it doesn't really matter because he's creating a ton of separation. He's getting open and he's making big plays. So, I mean, the fact that QJ has elevated his game and now he's a consistent target earner. You have Keenan Allen, who Justin Herbert loved when he was originally on the Chargers a couple years ago. And right now, Ladd McConkey's the wide receiver 3 on the team through 3 weeks. So it's just nuts. It's crazy.
Crazy, man. Well, I guess enough talking about studs of the QJs of the world, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This episode is more about the players outside the top 24 in that position. Kind of can take your pick, either wide receiver, running back. But I think you and I are going to call out a couple key players this week who you want to start or keep your eye on, or maybe even have a nice path moving forward in the season. But Ethan, let's just kick it right off and start with you. With what flex player outside the top 24 in their respected position, running back or wide receiver, do you have a focus in this week?
At running back, I know I leaned into this team in last week's episode. My call out was Ramondre Stevenson, which obviously didn't hit, but his play led me to make this decision this week, and that's RB30 TreVeyon Henderson. Ramondre Stevenson had 2 massive fumbles in week 3, and it cost the Patriots the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. One of the fumbles was going into the end zone, and then Antonio Gibson fumbled as well. So I think it's time that the New England Patriots finally featured TreVeyon Henderson. Reports out of practice was that TreVeyon Henderson was getting the first run through in practice as the first running back through the contact drills. So I think he's going to be featured this week, and I think it's a decent matchup against the Carolina Panthers. They rank 25th in rush yards allowed per game and 19th against opposing running backs. They allow 5.72 yards per carry. They've allowed 104 receiving yards for running backs through the first 3 games. So I think this game can be fruitful for the running back position, especially because Drake May really hasn't locked into any receivers. It's essentially Hunter Henry in the running game right now. I mean, Demario Douglas, in my opinion, can just be cut. He's terrible. Stephon Diggs is taking some time to get back. Kayshon Boutte I like a lot. He just hasn't been getting targets as of late. So I think if they're going to beat Carolina at home, the Patriots are going to need to run the ball. They're going to need to use Henderson in the receiving game, and they're going to have to lean on him. So, because I think Rhamondre Stevenson, that there is a possibility he might be a healthy scratch just to send a message. Because, I mean, he's fumbled the ball so many times the last couple of years, and to fumble twice and essentially cost the Patriots the game, there's going to need to be some repercussions there. So I like TreVeyon Henderson at RB30.
Yeah, I like Henderson. I think, we were talking patience, earlier here in the episode. I think it's just a matter of time. I think, Ramondre's big play this year, that long reception, was a TreVeyon Henderson play, right? I think he was just like, I'm not sure, what led to Ramondre being in that snap, or was if he was the hot hand at the time. But that's a TreVeyon Henderson play written all over it.
Yeah, no, it was that you're talking about the play against Miami when he had that nice over the shoulder catch, right?
Right.
So, yeah. So that play was in practice was scripted for Henderson, and Henderson and went through that rep in practice. The problem is Henderson, which is kind of crazy to say, has been struggling in pass pro, and they haven't been able to trust him out there. So Rhamondre Stevenson has been kind of the bell cow, playing on third downs and getting the majority of carries because he can be trusted in pass protection, and he can be trusted he was trusted to tote the rock. Now you can't trust him because he fumbles the ball. But I mean, Henderson, the reason why I think it's kind of a little surprising that he's been in the doghouse for pass protection and whatnot is because he was arguably the best running back in pass pro coming out of the draft. So, I mean, who knows if they fully trust Henderson right now, but I think they need to use him this week because they can't trust the other 2 running backs at this point to hold on to the football, especially Rhamondre. I think Gibson, he fumbled once. You got to give him a slight pass, but obviously he had fumbling issues when he was in Washington. So I think it's going to be a Henderson, a slight Henderson breakout week. And not to dive into the patience too much, but I mean, I was listening to another podcast and they were talking about rookie running backs who ended up being league winners. And it was like Devon Achane through the first, I think 3 weeks, he had like 5 touches, or the first 2 weeks, he only had 5 touches. Chris McCaffrey averaged like 2.7 yards per carry through the first few weeks of his NFL career. Jahmyr Gibbs was only averaging 5 fantasy points a game through the first few weeks. These guys take time, and people just want to panic and trade them away for cheap, or just completely panic sell or just freak out. But you got to remember, these guys are coming out of college. It's their first taste of NFL action. Sometimes it takes time, and these are the players that, hey, they struggle, create buying opportunities, and become league winners. So I think the start of Henderson as a league winner starts this week in week 4.
All right, we're shifting gears for Rhamondre to TreVeyon, right? Hopefully TreVeyon doesn't fumble, then they might just get somebody else.
Oh God.
But okay, we'll move on from the Pats talk. I know you could probably go all day on that.
Oh, I could.
But I'll bring up my guy. He's wide receiver 33 right now, and I know we just had a DFS episode. We just pretty much crapped on this team in that episode. But I'm going Chris Olave. He's wide receiver 33 right now, and we talked about just how the struggles, what we can kind of foresee the Saints will have this season. Fortunately, the only position it benefits in fantasy is the wide receiver, right? Because you have so many losing game scripts where you gotta throw it, right? Throw the ball. And Olave's just coming off a week where he had 14 targets, right? He caught 10 catches for off of 14 targets in week 3. And honestly, I don't see the game script changing anytime soon, right? So he's going to get plenty of targets in losing game scripts for I think the rest of the year. We talked about it with the Bills, for sure with the Bills, the 16-point spread. So in a PPR league, very confident starting Olave. Maybe half point might scare you a little bit. But I don't have very many Olave shares in my fantasy leagues, but if I did, I wouldn't mind throwing him out there as a flex this week. And hopefully maybe he might pick up one of those garbage time touchdowns at the end of the game too. And maybe the Bills have their third string secondary out there. So I'm going Chris Olave at wide receiver 33 right now.
Yeah, no, Olave is a good call. Game script, they're going to be forced to pass. And I mean, I don't know if he can get any more targets than he's already getting, but he's probably going to get probably 15 targets this week, to be honest. And he hasn't scored a touchdown yet. So his fantasy production hasn't led to fruitful weeks. But I think in week 4, with the passing volume, and if he gets in the end zone, I think he's going to return value. So I think Chris Olave is being undervalued based on his target share in his offense.
Agreed. Well, hopefully that one turns out for me there. Let's move on. Let's go to quarterback position. We're going to go outside the top 10 position. Ethan, hit me a quarterback. Who you focusing on there?
Yeah, I was high on this quarterback in our DFS show. So I'm gonna stay consistent. I'm gonna go Geno Smith at quarterback 14, and the matchup is just very, very juicy. Chicago ranks 30th against opposing quarterbacks, allowing 25 points per game. I mean, Chicago is very poor against wide receivers, bottom 4 unit. They've allowed 769 pass yards and 9 touchdowns and a QB rating of 110.01 through the first 3 weeks. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think Chicago is going to put up points, which is going to force Geno to chuck it. And even if the Raiders do get down, I think Geno is going to clean up in garbage time, kind of like he did in week 3 when Trey Tucker went for 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, I don't know if he's going to have a week 2 Jared Goff performance against Chicago where he went 334 and 5 touchdowns, but hey, maybe he comes close.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, Geno Smith's kind of been the last, 2-3 years of a streamer option if you got to if you maybe got one of those injured quarterbacks on your team and you gotta, find that streamer. That's a game that I know we were both talking. I was on the Bears side with DJ Moore this week too. So I think that game could go back and forth. Both secondaries are putting up points to the passing game. So don't hate that call at all. I'm gonna go with another quarterback here. This one should be a high stake game here. I'm going Matt Stafford at QB 16, going up against the Indianapolis Colts. Week 4 specifically, the Colts pass rush is not their strongest suit of their team. They're actually fourth worst in the league pass rush. So I just think when you got Puka and Adams out there, they're already both putting up fantasy points. Stafford proves that, you really just need one target with Stafford, but he's got Puka and Adams. So I think, with it's actually a higher over on the week 2. I think it's 40, just over 49 point over. Stafford should have a pretty solid week if you have to start him as well. He's had a 15-point game, 21-point game, 17-point game as well. And just look at his targets he's thrown to. So I have no problem starting Matt Stafford in week 4 as well.
No, I like to call him Matt Stafford. I mean, his ceiling really hasn't been there this year, but his floor has. He's had multiple touchdown passes in the last 2 weeks, and the last 2 weeks he's also had 33 pass attempts. So, if the Colts can continue this ride in terms of their offense being tops in the league here, I mean, they're going to put up points, and it's going to force Stafford and that Rams offense to try to keep up. So hopefully it's a shootout. I was actually in a couple of my fantasy leagues. I'm in the streaming realm for this week in terms of quarterback, and Stafford's out there, and I was leaning to pick him up and start him because I do think he has a decent floor with, like you said, Puka and Adams.
I like it. Hey, look, just listen to Sunday Surefire. We got your back.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So let's move on to the tight end position. I know sometimes it's we kind of cringe with tight ends outside the top 10. If you have some of those guys, I'm sorry for you. We always want to be inside the top 10 with that position. But hey, let's kind of talk a few guys outside that area. Ethan, start us off with the tight end position.
Yeah, tight end. I thought this was a pretty easy call at tight end 15. That's David Njoku. Detroit ranks 27th against tight ends. Detroit's going to put a point. It's going to force Cleveland to throw the ball. I think Flacco's going to have to throw the ball over 40 times. And David Njoku is coming off week 3 as the leading target earner. And I think that's going to continue this week against a secondary and defense that can be exposed with the tight end. I mean, just look at what Mark Andrews did to Detroit on Monday night. I believe he went for 6 for 91 and 2 touchdowns. Hopefully that's David Njoku this week, but I still think David Njoku is one of Flacco's favorite targets. Like I said, led the team in targets this past week. He played 76% of the snaps. He's out there. He's earning targets. They're going to have to throw the ball to somewhere. Judy and Tillman really haven't been great thus far this season. And Fannin, he kind of had a down tick in targets and usage last week. I think it's going to be a Njoku game for the Cleveland Browns. So at tight end 15, I thought this was a pretty easy call.
I like that. I like that a lot. I like Njoku. I got him in a couple leagues as well. I just kind of passed on him just because I do have him. I want to kind of call out someone else, but I do like your call out a little bit more than my guy. I'll even say that because my guy is a little bit gross. He's been
how gross he is.
Well, I won't say too gross, but he's let down so many fantasy owners throughout these last couple of years. Had a lot of high expectations. I'm going tight end 11. Kyle Pitts, believe it or not.
right when you said disappointment, I knew exactly where you were going.
Exactly. Yeah, and it may seem like it's just like such a bad time to call out Pitts, where the Falcons just got shut out by the Panthers, right? But I mean, in the NFL, you got to zig when others are zagging, right? I think Penix has to have a turnaround game after that poor performance, but he's shown he's not really throwing downfield too much. So Pitts just had 6 targets last week, 4 catches. Not screaming huge numbers at you, but he should be a safety blanket for Penix. Tight ends are some of the positions that kind of turn your QB's confidence around as well. But one of the more the biggest reason I'm kind of leaning towards Pitts is more so the matchup. Washington's secondary is not doing so well as either. Where what do you know? It's been like where are we on season 5, and we've always called out Washington's secondary on this show. But they are the worst secondary against slot tight ends in the league, and Pitts lines up at the slot all the time, right? So I think Pitts could have a nice week 4. I think the Falcons have to. I think they already said they're not going to entertain playing Cousins, right? So they're kind of being a little stubborn with their coaching decision there. But yeah, I just think Pitts is the safety blanket they can kind of turn to in week 4. He's probably more of a low floor, not really a high ceiling call, but sometimes when I'm trying to just get safety points and get some low floors in some positions, I just need at least 8 to 10 points for my maybe my tight end, and I'm happy with it. So unfortunately, I'm going to go Kyle Pitts, but that's my logic behind it.
No, I like the Pitts call out. I think Pitts, just with his profile and his athleticism, always gives you some upside, and he's been earning targets. The Washington secondary is not very good. Drake London's kind of been struggling, obviously with Penix struggling goes with goes down the receivers and tight ends and everybody else. But I do like the upside in Kyle Pitts this week. I don't know if Daniels is playing. If Daniels is playing, maybe they put up a little bit more points and then they can push the Falcons offense to throw the ball, even though Mariota played obviously very well in relief of Jaden Daniels. But no, I like the Kyle Pitts call. He's definitely a guy I wouldn't mind just throwing into my tight end spot, hoping for some upside.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. I mean, I guess if I were to choose Njoku Pitts, I do like Njoku's big playability. But yeah, if Njoku's not out there, you gotta pick somebody up, or maybe you have Pitts sitting on your bench. Like I said, I think he might be a safe floor for week 4. But those are our main call outs in this week, this episode. Stay tuned. We're gonna, keep throwing in this action. Ethan, you got any other call outs or guys you wanna mention?
Yeah, sure. I'll do a quick bonus call.
Bonus.
I didn't mention a receiver, so I think a sneaky receiver this week that, I mean, it could be a little gross, but if it's going to happen, it's going to happen this week against the Cowboys. I think it's Matthew Golden going up against the worst secondary, worst defense in the league. I mean, Micah Parsons and company are going to want to just steamroll the Cowboys. And Golden finally played over 70% of the snaps last week. I mean, look what Russell Wilson and the Giants did against that secondary. 450 yards, 3 touchdowns. Wando Robinson and Neighbors were just going deep and just catching those moon balls from Russell Wilson and scoring touchdowns. Matthew Golden has been close. I feel like him and Love have just been a little off. I think they finally connect this week. I think Golden has some massive plays, and I think he has a lot of upside this week. I think Matthew Golden is finally going to hit in week 4 against the Dallas Cowboys defense. And he's wide receiver 42, so he's down there.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's definitely due, and it's his time, right? I mean, they really just got Dobbs. They're banged up with Reed and Watson and all them too. So it's yeah, he's gotta step up, if they want to be a Super Bowl contender. So I like that call out. But yeah, stay tuned. We'll keep dropping these nuggets throughout the weekend. Feel free to throw something in our chat, on our socials, tweet to us, whatever social you like. We're pretty much on there. So feel free on that. Don't forget to hit that like and follow button. But until next time, folks, peace.